At the start of the movie, we learn that 300 years have gone by since a massive global conflict known as the World War. This hints that a world war took place sometime in those 300 years, leading to major devastation around the globe. We see a spaceship filled with people from different nations. It turns out that the folks on the spaceship have been tossing their trash back on Earth. One day, a scientist stumbles upon a robot in the garbage. But this isn't just any robot. It's a unique blend of human and machine. The scientist manages to lift the robot and takes it home, where he repairs it perfectly. He uses the parts to create a new body for it. The next day, the female robot wakes up, thrilled to have a new form. She looks at the scientist and asks, "Who am I? How did I end up here? Where did I come from?" The scientist doesn't know where she originated, so he keeps that info to himself. Instead, he explains, "Your original body was damaged when we found you in the trash, but your mind was intact. We just fixed you up with a new body." He then shows her the world outside, and she gets super excited seeing the city, along with a glimpse of the spaceship. She asks the scientist, "What is this place? Is it real?" The doctor explains that it's the last city standing after the war, called Sky City. This place has turned into a sought-after haven where life is peaceful and enjoyable, something everyone dreams of. The upper class lives there, while the lower class remains in the outside world. Then, the doctor gives the robot a name, saying, "From now on, you're called Alita." Alita feels happy to hear her name. The robot doctor also tells Alita that everyone in their world works for Sky City, which is filled with various fields, industries, and factories. Later, Alita meets a boy named Hugo, who admires her strong robotic body. They quickly become friends. That same night, a girl is murdered in the city. There's a notorious criminal who has been targeting girls and disposing of them. Afterward, Alita sees the doctor coming home and notices his hands are covered in blood. This makes her suspicious that he might be the one behind the recent murders. The next day, the scientist's wife comes to visit him. They got divorced, and it turns out that the body Alita has is actually his daughter's. Since she was gone, her body was donated to Alita. After that, Hugo invites Alita to play a popular game in the city. She impresses everyone with her skills and ends up winning. Later, Hugo takes her to his favorite spot, the rooftop of a building where they can see the entire city, including Sky City, in the distance. There's a massive pipe there, and Hugo explains that everything from Sky City comes down to Earth through it. He's determined to reach Sky City one day. Curious, Alita asks what Sky City is like, and Hugo reveals that the doctor found her in the trash, which came from Sky City. This means she has ties to it, but Alita can't remember anything about her past. Her memories are gone. The next day, the doctor leaves the house, and Alita follows him, realizing that he's not a bad guy after all. He's known as a hunter-warrior. These are the folks who take out criminals, and later the bodies of those killers are sent to a factory. In return, they get a hefty reward. At this point, Alita starts to uncover the truth about the doctor, just as a serial killer shows up. This guy is the same one who's been targeting girls, but he's been hiding out in the city. Alita steps up and confronts him, putting up a good fight that forces him to run away. Meanwhile, she manages to take down another killer. Afterward, the doctor and Alita head to the factory, bringing along the head of the killer. They end up getting a $20 reward for it. Then, the doctor shares his backstory with Alita, explaining how he earned the title of hunter-warrior and what led to it. He recounts a time when he lived with his wife and daughter. One day, a robot broke into their home and kidnapped their daughter. This incident fueled his rage against the robot, leading him to destroy the very creation he had made. That's when he became a hunter-warrior. Soon after, a guy named Vector enters the picture, who happens to be the mastermind behind the race game. Vector was the one who used to set up this game. You can also spot the doctor's wife hanging out with Vector. It turns out she's playing a little game of her own with him because he promised to send her to Sky City. The doctor's wife is actually a doctor too and works for Vector. Then we see the same robot that Alita messed up earlier. It goes up to Vector and tells him that Alita is the reason for its messed up body. Vector makes a snarky comment saying, "Did you come back after getting beaten by a little girl?" The robot insists that Alita isn't just any little girl. She's the strongest. Vector then tells the robot that its new mission is to bring Alita to him, but only after doing some damage. Meanwhile, Hugo takes Alita to check out the race game. and tells her that the winner gets sent to Sky City. Alita gets super excited when she hears that. Then Hugo shows her an old ship, saying, "This is the ship of the enemies from 300 years ago." Alita is totally fascinated by it and jumps into the water to get closer to the ship. Alita stumbles upon a super advanced body inside the ship. She heads back to the doctor with it and asks him to fix it up, basically saying she wants her head on that body, but the doctor is not having it. He warns her that this body is incredibly powerful, loaded with weapons. If she gets it, she could become a serious threat, capable of causing chaos and destruction. Alita gets pretty upset at his refusal. After that, she decides to head to the factory, declaring that she's officially a hunter-warrior now. Later, she goes to a club with Hugo, where all the hunters hang out. She stirs things up, insisting they need to take down Vector's robot, the one responsible for so many deaths in the city. One of the hunters mocks her, questioning how someone her size could ever be a hunter-warrior. In response, Alita confronts him and knocks him down, leaving everyone around stunned. Just then, Vector's robot shows up, and it's even bigger than before. The doctor's wife had made some upgrades to the robot. When it shows up, it goes after Alita, and she fights back. The robot then makes a run for it, diving into a tunnel to escape. Alita follows him underground, and they end up in a fierce battle. In the end, the robot gets the upper hand and tears Alita apart. Just then, Hugo and the doctor arrive on the scene. They team up to take down the robot and manage to burn its remains. The robot, realizing it's in trouble, makes a quick getaway. The doctor takes Alita's broken body back home, which is in pretty bad shape. With no other choice, he repairs her using parts he found on a ship. The next morning, Alita wakes up feeling great in her new, powerful body that even has the ability to create fire. She's thrilled with the upgrade. Later, Alita visits Hugo to show off her new robotic form. He's impressed and really likes what he sees. During their chat, Hugo shares his dream of going to Sky City, but mentions that everyone needs scores to get there. These points can be earned by either taking someone out or winning a race. When Alita hears this, she offers her robotic heart to Hugo, pulling it out and saying, "Take my robotic heart, sell it. That way, you can score some points and make your way to Sky City." But Alita's heart is no ordinary piece of tech. It's packed with power. In fact, it could supply the city with electricity for months thanks to the energetic rays it holds. However, Hugo refuses to take it, insisting, "I don't need it. You should keep it safe because it's crucial for you." He encourages her to enter the race, confident that she can win. "If you do, we can both head to Sky City together." Alita, motivated by her feelings for Hugo, quickly agrees and prepares for the race. Soon after, Vector shows up, hiring hunters and killers to take out Alita. He tells them, "If you manage to kill Alita during the race, I'll reward you with 5 million points, which is essential for getting to Sky City." Among them is the hunter who had previously been defeated by Alita in the club. He was out for revenge against Alita for the humiliation he faced. Now, he was shifting that focus onto Hugo. He accused Hugo of being the one to take him down. This accusation pushed Hugo into a corner, leading him down a dark path of crime. Meanwhile, Alita showed up. She was gearing up for a race, where all the killers were her competitors. They started to gang up on Alita, but she was more than a match for them. One by one, she took them out. Just then, Hugo called her. He explained that a hunter had turned into his enemy and was after his life. Without a second thought, Alita ditched the race to save Hugo. When she arrived, she unleashed a brutal beatdown on the hunter. However, news spread throughout the city that Hugo had become a criminal, and there was a $30 reward for his capture. Soon enough, the police showed up, determined to take Hugo down. Everyone was convinced he needed to be stopped. They urged Alita to finish him off, but she refused. In a twist, the hunter managed to strike Hugo with a sword, ending his life. Hugo is on the brink of death. At first glance, it seems like it's all over for him. Then the doctor's wife shows up and tells Alita to cut off Hugo's head. She wants to attach it to a new body and turn him into a robot. The doctor's wife has transformed into a refined lady and believes this will give Hugo a second chance. So Alita gets to work, removing Hugo's head right in front of everyone. Later, she takes it to the doctor, who successfully connects it to a new body after the operation. In the end, Hugo comes back to life. Hugo and Alita are thrilled because he now has a robotic body just like hers. The doctor informs Alita that Vector is a fraud. tricking everyone into thinking you can send them to Sky City for a hefty fee. The truth is, no one can actually go to Sky City by paying money. Only the residents of Sky City can enter and live there, and the only way to get there from this world is by winning a race. Otherwise, it's off limits to everyone else. The doctor tells Alita that he and his wife were born in the Sky City and came here to get treatment for their daughter. Unfortunately, they ended up getting trapped. This news makes Alita furious, and she sets off to take down Vector. She heads straight to the factory, where she faces off against Vector's machines. But Alita is now equipped with a powerful robotic body, and she takes them out one by one. After destroying a bunch of machines and robots, she finally makes her way to confront Vector. However, his robot attacks her and injures her, causing her to fall. In that moment, Alita starts to regain memories from her past. She recalls being a warrior who fought in a world war that happened around 300 years ago, where all her friends and allies perished. She also remembers being discarded like trash, left badly hurt. As her memories flood back, she realizes that the owner of the Sky City is responsible for all the pain she endured and the loss of her companions. With renewed determination, Alita vows to take down the owner of the Sky City. Alita gets pretty emotional when she remembers that she's lost all her friends. It makes her aggressive, and soon a robot attacks her. In response, Alita takes out her sword and dismantles the robot. At the same time, she goes after Vector with her sword too. Vector doesn't stand a chance and is killed right there. Then Alita gets a call from the doctor and learns that Hugo is trying to climb up to Sky City. She quickly follows him, telling him he shouldn't go there. She insists there's nothing up there, and that they should just live their lives in the world below. Hugo listens to her, but the owner of Sky City is watching from above and attacks them. Unfortunately, Hugo gets completely torn apart while Alita is holding his hand. In a tragic moment, Alita accidentally loses her grip, and Hugo falls from a great height. Heartbroken, Alita starts to cry. Fueled by grief, she vows to go to Sky City and take revenge for Hugo's death. We see Alita winning a race and pointing her sword up at Sky City, declaring to its owner, "I'm coming for you. I'll make you regret this and won't let you live." The movie wraps up on that intense note.